As of the creation of this video, it's been 130 days since the airing of Diamond is Unbreakable episode 39, currently the last episode of the JoJo anime. 130 days without a single JoJo Friday, and 130 days with still no Part 5 anime. No teaser, no leaks, not even a confirmation. Although we may be in the midst of the depressing JoJo anime drought that longtime fans of the series have dealt with in between seasons for quite a while now, it's no reason to lose faith in the continuation of the JoJo anime. And as fellow creator Psychic Extremist has said, the possibility of a Part 5 anime is not a matter of if, but rather when, and I completely agree. I can't see a good reason why Part 5 wouldn't be animated, but I can see more than a handful of reasons why it should. Considering Vento Aureo's overwhelming popularity with the Japanese audience, the success of not only the recent Part 4 adaptation, but the success of all seasons, starting with Phantom Blood and Battle Tendency, starting the chain reaction of hype and success leading to Part 3 and Part 4's adaptations. And it seems like with each season, the hype train continues to double in size, all leading up to its stop in Italy, hopefully sometime soon. Oh yeah, also the goldmine that is JoJo merchandise. I mean, there have been multiple conventions in Japan that have taken place for the sole purpose to celebrate the series and to sell a shitload of merchandise. So with the inevitable continuation of the JoJo anime having Part 5 getting its turn to join the anime club, here's what to expect. Every part of JoJo is created in a sometimes slightly and sometimes dramatically different art style, but either way, each part has a different aesthetic and specific quirks. David Production has proudly acknowledged this aspect of the series and has given each part's adaptation its own unique and easily identifiable aesthetic, much like their manga counterparts. The most dramatic shift was clearly in the Part 4 anime, where David Production decided to adapt the part in a style more reminiscent of the part's later art style to keep character appearances and designs consistent rather than changing over time like the manga, as well as to give animation and characters an aesthetic that matched Diamond is Unbreakable's at times much more lighthearted tone. So when we see our first look at Part 5 anime footage, expect another dramatic change in art style, probably the biggest change yet. JoJo itself is notorious for the manga's art style going from big muscles and manly men to more elegant and fashionable with character designs and body types. And late Part 4 is where this style creeped its way into this series, and by Part 5 we see an almost unrecognizable style. So the way I expect this to be handled by David Production will be by giving Part 5 a look that's completely unique to itself, much different from any other part yet, possibly sharing some character design aspects from Diamond is Unbreakable, but having a whole new feel considering how different Parts 4 and 5 are from each other in terms of themes and setting. It's exciting to see the anime change and evolve over time, just like the manga, and so far I believe David Productions has done a great job captivating the overall theme and tone of each part with a unique aesthetic, so I'm sure they will do the same for Part 5, and in contrast to Part 4's soft yellows, possibly more dark sharp colors for Part 5 like reds and blacks. Or maybe I've just been playing way too much Persona 5 lately. But other than a dramatic new style, my next expectation for Part 5 is a bit worrisome, and it's about quality. Part 5 has the potential to look amazing, the best animated part yet, but it also has the possibility to look just average, much like most of Part 4 did. There's no denying that Vento Aureo is one of the most combat-heavy and intense parts of JoJo ever written, and intense, action-packed fights require a lot more animation resources. In order to animate and stay true to an action-packed stand battle requires good animation. Good animation requires time, money, and talent, and more money to pay that talent. And boy does Part 5 have a lot of action-filled battles going from one enemy stand user to the next with barely any time to even breathe in between. I mean, just one example of many is Diavolo and King Crimson versus Bruno and Sticky Fingers, in one of the most suspenseful and important moments in the entire part being the main villain's first appearance, taking place directly after the extremely kinetic White Album fight. With a lack of resources, we may be in store for some fights not being everything we hoped for, and maybe even the birth of a kin quality meme. But with the overwhelming success from Part 4, I'm sure David Productions has some sort of an increased amount of resources or a higher budget to produce better animation at a quicker pace. But based on how the events of Part 5 take place, it still raises the question of the anime being split into 2 seasons to spend more time on each episode, much like Stardust Crusaders, considering Part 5's length and the amount of fights taking place. Splitting the part up into 2 seasons has its strengths and weaknesses. Yes, each episode will be higher quality, but it may result in stretching out the source material and making some arcs drag on to fit a certain quota of chapters per episode, much like the Sun arc from the Part 3 anime. This is definitely a possibility, so I wouldn't be surprised if when Part 5 starts to air, we see a 24 episode count. As for any other expectations on the inevitable Vento Aureo anime, back to the art style, based on how David Production has handled character designs, they tend to start with the end, basing all characters' appearances on their look at the end of the part. So expect Giorno to consistently look like this for all of Vento Aureo, rather than this. Oh, and did I forget to mention censorship? Well, yeah, lots and lots and lots of censorship. But more on that and other hopes for the Part 5 anime, I recommend checking out the earlier mentioned YouTuber Psychic Extremists video on the topic, with similar and different expectations mentioned in this video. But I'd love to hear what you guys expect to see from the Part 5 anime while we continue to endure the wait. Anyways, that's a video, guys, and just a reminder, a new JoJonium Stardust Crusaders Volume 3 just released a few days ago, so if you want to support the series, check the description for more details. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed, and if you're hyped for the Part 5 anime, and of course subscribe for more videos. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.